We all want to play ideas with a high level of technical mastery. But today, I want you to ask yourself if you are overlooking one of the most obvious and underutilized practice tools that you have at your disposal. That is playing slow. Now, before you hit next on this video and say, yeah, Shawn, of course, obviously I know I need to practice slow. Today, I'm going to challenge you to rethink why this is so important and how we actually apply this in the practice room. So before we jump into the what to practice, we first have to think a little bit about why this is so important. When we're learning a musical instrument, in large, we're mostly learning via repetition. Yeah, there might be some other avenues you can go to help sort of like nudge yourself forward a little bit extra, but really, it's about getting lots of reps on whatever concept we're working on. So you have to ask yourself, am I setting up practice habits that are going to instill a lot of correct repetitions with a minimum of incorrect repetitions, or am I setting up practice procedures that are going to give me just a few correct repetitions, but then give me many incorrect repetitions? Research in brain imaging has shown that when we do repetitive tasks, we develop what are called neurological pathways, or sort of ways that the brain connects in order to help us do that task more efficiently. Your brain naturally strengthens pathways that get used often and prunes away information that doesn't get used often. Now, this is not to say that it's pruning away correct or incorrect information. It's all about which pathways get reinforced the most. To apply this to our practice on our instruments, I want you to think about a little thought experiment. Say we were repping a particular passage 10 times. We might start by playing it slow, maybe 2 times, just to make sure we have it under our fingers. Many musicians would then take a gradual approach to speeding the tempo up from there. However, they would probably find that as they got faster and faster, they were gradually increasing the number of mistakes they made. So maybe they took a couple reps at a few new tempos, gradually getting faster. Now, if we spread this sort of gradual speed up across these 10 reps we're talking about, only getting 2 where the exercise was totally correct, and then 8 that were all slightly incorrect to maybe ranging to all the way to straight up being wrong, we're not really feeding our brain the right type of information it needs to develop that neurological pathway. It's getting 2 good reps, but then it's just getting a bunch of disparate information that doesn't reinforce the skill. Now, to connect this, what I think we should actually do in the practice room, we're going to take an approach that is not dissimilar, but one that favors a lot of correct repetitions with only a few incorrect repetitions. So the start is the same. We're going to start by playing something slow. I'm talking about probably half tempo of where you eventually want to be. You don't just want to focus on notes here. You got to focus on a great sound, great time feel, great intonation, all of the things that you want to do correctly. When you go to try to apply this idea or an idea like this, you have to be able to do great at this really slow tempo. So you do maybe 3 or 4 reps at this super slow tempo. Next, rather than gradually speeding up, you're immediately going to go to a tempo that is faster, but that you're still sure you can execute at a nearly 100% level 100% of the time. Take an additional 3 to 4 reps at this tempo. From there, you're now finally going to jump to a tempo that is sort of beyond your technical ability at the time. And rather than gradually speeding up and getting all those reps that are going to be sort of sketchy, you're going to go immediately to that tempo. And we'll do a couple reps at that tempo. So if we do it in this way and we kind of think back to our 10 rep example, say we did 3 or 4 reps at the super slow tempo, 3 or 4 reps at the medium 100% accurate tempo, and then just maybe 2 to 3 reps at the fastest tempo, we're going to get 60% to 70% of our reps being like really good, really strong, great time, great intonation, obviously accuracy, and only a couple reps at that faster tempo that's going to help us nudge forward tempo-wise, but we're going to get a lot of reinforcement where we're actually doing the skill correctly, reinforcing that neurological pathway. Now, this doesn't just work on licks or other technical exercises we might work on. This is something you absolutely should practice on tunes. And this is something that I find in my own practice. I'm constantly having to remind myself, having to remind my students that sometimes you just need to play slower in order to achieve some mastery. And taking this 3-tempo approach can be really successful. Now, when you go all the way to the slowest tempo playing tunes, you're actually going to find it's pretty challenging. That's going to offer sort of a different challenge to you than playing fast, but it's really going to help you firm up foundations of great time. Am I feeling swing? Can I really get the ideas to land? So that way, when you go to a faster tempo, those things are already taken care of. Cool. Hopefully you stuck around for this whole lesson. This is something I think a lot of musicians just want to avoid. We all know we need to practice slow, but it's something, in all honesty, I think none of us really like doing. It seems rudimentary. It seems like something, hey, I learned that in 5th grade. Why do I need to do this now? Particularly for someone like me who's an adult musician working on this stuff. But I promise you, if you just took some extra time in your practice to carve out maybe 5 minutes to work on whatever your material you're doing in this slow fashion, particularly maybe trying this 3-tempo approach, I hate to say I guarantee, but almost I guarantee that you'd see some good progress. Just because when you take that step back and slow the tempo down, it really gets us to think about what the important elements of playing a tune are. Cool. We'll see you in the woodshed.